Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. This is Tausif, starting a new live stream. I hope you can all hear me. It's good to be doing a live stream. I know I don't know if I should say it's a little late. I think it's a little too early because the day just started. It's 12:24 a.m. here in the Central Time Zone. So brand new day. It's November the 7th, and I'm starting this live stream. And it is such a pleasure to see our friends tuning in, and I can see our friend Swaggy is here. Swaggy, that's our friend Colin from California. So great to see you, Colin. Thanks for being here. I feel like it's been a while. So, Frank just joined. Frank, good to see you as well. Our friend Frank from Florida. So we got California, we got Florida, we got the two different parts of the country, friends from two different parts of the country already participating in the live chat. And I hope that more will join. Swaggy, I'm glad that you're here. And we got Texas. We got Kay Cooper who's just tuned in. Uh, Kay, good to see you. Swaggy, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. This is perfect timing. I'll tell you why. Because we're going to be talking about Nancy Pelosi, and you are in California, and I thought it's perfect timing because maybe you can share some thoughts about Nancy Pelosi and the decision that she made. I understand you're in Southern California. Nancy Pelosi is from Northern California, so different parts, but same state. And Evelyn just joined. Evelyn from Vegas. Good to see you, Evelyn, our friend. Swaggy is giving thumbs down already for the politician whose name I just mentioned, Pelosi. Hey, let's start the discussion. What are we waiting for? Share with me your thoughts. All right, my friends, as you know by now, Nancy Pelosi has made a decision. She's made a very big decision, and she has made the decision public. She has published the information about it. And for those who have not been keeping track, and if you want to ask me, Tausif, what kind of a decision did Nancy Pelosi make? What are you talking about? You missed it. You missed it. That's why I'm here to tell you all about this. Nancy Pelosi has decided not to seek re-election. Can you believe that? Nancy Pelosi has decided that's it. She is not going to be seeking re-election. She is not going to go for re-election to another term. And many people are happy about it. Many people are celebrating. They're saying, finally, thank God, Nancy Pelosi has decided to retire. A lot of people have been waiting for this day for a long time because you look at Nancy Pelosi's record as an elected official, it's such a poor record that she has. What has she really accomplished after spending decades in Washington? Can anyone tell me what has she accomplished? I mean, she should have a list of at least 10 major accomplishments, right? I mean, if you're going to be spending decades in Washington, in Congress, after decades, you should have at least like 10 major accomplishments to list. More, but at least 10. Can anyone tell me 10 things, 10 great things that Nancy Pelosi accomplished? Go ahead, tell me. It's an open question. Tell me 10 things. She has been in Washington for decades, since the 80s. What has she accomplished? 10 things, tell me. My friends, many people are excited. They're happy to see Nancy Pelosi finally making the decision to exit Congress. Of course, she's going to be completing her current term. She's not leaving right now. In case you're wondering, like, okay, maybe she has immediately resigned. No, that's not the case. She has decided not to seek re-election. So she's going to complete her current term and then go home. Not run for re-election. That means throughout 2026, you're going to see her in Washington still, completing her term. But people are still celebrating that, oh, finally, she's going to be leaving Washington. Now, if I ask you the question, okay, why is Nancy Pelosi finally leaving politics? Why is she finally deciding to retire? Well, the instant obvious answer that many people will share is, oh, she's old. She's a senior citizen. She's in her 80s. So it's time for her to retire, and that's why she's leaving. That is the simple answer. That's the simple answer. That's the obvious answer. Of course, she's a senior citizen. She's in her 80s. She spent decades in politics, and now, yeah, it is time for her to retire. But is that the real reason? For somebody who has been in politics for so long, she could have decided to spend 2 more years in Washington. If she has spent her 60s, her 70s in Washington, in politics, she could decide, hey, I'm going to be there until 2028. I'm going to run for a final term, and then that's it. She could have done that. She could have announced ahead of time. She could have said, oh, I'm going to be seeking re-election, but this is going to be my final term in office. She could have said that. Why did she all of a sudden decide that she's going to retire? Are there other reasons behind the obvious reason that she's old? You gotta think about this. My friends, the announcement of Nancy Pelosi's retirement coincides with some other very significant developments in American politics. My friends, do you know what I'm talking about? Do you understand what I'm talking about? Share with me your thoughts. Her decision to exit politics appears to be more of a political decision than one about age. It's not so much about age. It's more about something else that is happening in American politics. My friends, you gotta wonder, is it because of the rise of communism in the Democrat Party? Is that the reason why Nancy Pelosi all of a sudden makes the decision, announces the decision that she's not going to seek re-election? Is it because communism is gaining strength in the Democrat Party? My friends, you got to analyze the week. It's still the same week that we are in. And what did we see? Zoran Mamdani, the communist, winning an election to become the next mayor of New York City. And then you hear about Nancy Pelosi's retirement. Is she retiring because Pelosi is realizing that the power of the Democrat Party establishment is going to fade away? The power of the establishment is going to fade away. Is that the reason why Nancy Pelosi has all of a sudden decided to retire? The power that the Democrat Party elites, the power that the Democrat Party establishments enjoyed for so long, such a long period of time, that power is finally going to start to erode. Just understand how two major events coincide almost. First, the country witnessed the election of a communist mayor in New York City. Hey, I got to tell you something. Every time I do a live stream and I talk about New York City and I say communist mayor, communist candidate, communist Mamdani, some folks really have a problem with that. And I don't understand why. Why do you have a problem with that? Why do you have a problem with the fact that I accurately describe Zoran Mamdani? That guy who won election to be the next mayor of New York City, that guy Zoran Mamdani, he's a communist. But some folks here in the live chat, they have a real problem. They get very upset. They get very angry whenever I say communist Mamdani. That guy is a communist. You like it or not. You can scream and shout all you want, and you can ask me to stop what I'm saying, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to continue to tell the truth, and the truth is that Zoran Mamdani is a communist. Repeat that. That's what he is. And I'm simply stating the truth. My friends, Zoran Mamdani is a communist and the country knows it. And Zoran Mamdani won election in New York City to become the next mayor. So a communist gets elected to be the mayor of New York, and the same week, Nancy Pelosi decides that it's time to announce her retirement. My friends, Nancy Pelosi has been in politics, as I said, for decades. You got to go read her biography, and you'll find out how long she has been involved in politics. She actually comes from a political family. And Nancy Pelosi is capable of seeing the signs of political decline. Nancy Pelosi, given her experience in politics, she can identify the signs of political decline. And Nancy Pelosi knows very well that there's something very serious happening. And do you know what that is? Do you know what that is? By the way, do we have some Democrats here watching? I want to draw your attention. Okay, Democrats, if you are watching this, I want you to carefully listen to me. Put everything aside. Turn off that TV. Turn off your radio. Stop watching whatever other videos you may be watching. Stop watching cartoons. Do it right now, because what I'm about to tell you is very important, and you need to listen to this. So stop watching your cartoon and listen to what I'm saying. Nancy Pelosi knows that the Democrat Party establishment ship is sinking. The ship is sinking, my friends. The Democrat Party establishment ship is sinking. And so Nancy Pelosi does not want to be a part of this. She wants to exit before the Democrat Party completely sinks. The party is facing a downward spiral. The elites are witnessing the rise of communism. And the elites are scared. The Democrat Party machine is scared. The Democrat Party machine is feeling helpless because they can see the communists taking over the party. And Nancy Pelosi wants to exit the political arena. She does not want to witness this political downward spiral that she knows is coming. It is happening already. My friends, more than that, Nancy Pelosi knows that MAGA is getting stronger than ever before. My friends, do you support MAGA? Let me know in the live chat, my friends, do you support MAGA? Do you believe in making America great again? MAGA forever, absolutely. Swaggy is saying MAGA. Others are saying MAGA. Someone's saying yes, absolutely, MAGA. Kay Cooper is saying MAGA. My friends, Nancy Pelosi knows that from coast to coast, the American people are cheering because President Trump is winning. My friends, more than ever before, MAGA is becoming stronger. You can look at what's written on my hat, Make America Great Again. More and more people are joining the MAGA movement. Promises made, promises kept. And that is what is making MAGA stronger and stronger. And Nancy Pelosi probably thought it might be best to exit the political arena right now, complete the current term, and say goodbye. Share with me your thoughts. I have more to say, but I wanna get your thoughts as well. Share with me your thoughts, my friends. So many people are happy. You know, I'm conducting a poll. The question is, are you happy that Nancy Pelosi is not seeking re-election? And overwhelmingly, people are saying, yes, they are happy that she is not seeking re-election. That is so great. That is so great. Wonderful to see. Swaggy is saying Trump is a winner. Swaggy, I agree with you. Trump is a winner. Who else agrees with our friend Swaggy? Our friend Swaggy from California is saying Trump is a winner. Do you agree with that statement? Because I do. Let's see all the comments. Evelyn agrees with Swaggy. Chris is saying Swaggy is correct. John Drake is saying yes. Kay Cooper is also saying Trump is a winner. This is excellent. Swaggy, how do you feel that so many people agree with you? And there are many others whose names I have not mentioned, but you can see all the comments coming in. People agree with you Swaggy, that Trump is a winner. And I agree with you. And freedom-loving Americans coast to coast agree with Swaggy that Trump is a winner. Each and every day, promises made, promises kept. Just today, President Trump was busy taking action to lower drug prices. He's making healthcare more affordable. Who can deny that? Who can disagree with that? That is all President Trump and his administration. They are doing this. Making healthcare more affordable, lowering drug prices, securing the border, strengthening our relationship with our international allies, making America energy dominant, supporting our manufacturing, bringing businesses back to the United States of America, supporting law enforcement, supporting our military, strengthening our military. And there's a lot more. Each and every day, we're seeing great work being done. We are seeing results. Politicians often make promises before the election. They say, if you vote for me, this is what's going to happen. If you vote for me, I'm going to do this for you. If you vote for me, I'm going to do that for you. And then all the promises then turn into excuses. But President Trump, he's not presenting any excuse. He's not saying, oh, I promised you this, but we can't do it because of this reason. No, he is saying, I made a promise and I'm going to deliver. Here are the results. And we, the American people, we can see the results. We can see each and every day the concrete outcomes of the actions that President Trump took to fulfill the promises that he made to the American people. He made to you. He made that promise to you. He made that promise to me and all our freedom-loving, patriot American friends. My friends, please share your thoughts with me. And let me tell you this. Nancy Pelosi clearly knows that MAGA is getting stronger and stronger. Promises made, promises kept. And that's one of the reasons why Nancy Pelosi is leaving. She's exiting the political arena. But there's something else. There's something else that people may not be thinking about. There's something else that is a major reason for why Nancy Pelosi has decided not to seek re-election. Do you want to hear that reason? You want to hear that reason, my friends? Let me know. By the way, if you have not yet subscribed, I would encourage you to do that, please. Subscribe and be a part of this community. We have crossed the 15,500 subscriber mark, and we're growing as a community. We're getting stronger, and with your support, we're going to get to 20,000 very soon. Very soon, my friends. Do you want to hear the other reason, very important reason, why Nancy Pelosi has decided not to seek re-election? Are you ready? Just say ready. Swaggy says yes. Swaggy wants to know the reason. Chris is saying I subscribe. Thank you, Chris. Thanks so much. Metal is saying ready. Swaggy is ready. Kalel is ready. Kalel, good to see you. You have to understand that right after the 2026 midterm election, the 2028 election cycle will begin. All these politicians like Gavin Newsom and J.B. Pritzker and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Kamala Harris, and others like Jasmine Crockett. Don't forget Jasmine Crockett. Don't forget Jasmine Crockett. When you mention the names of the woke politicians, when you talk about the failed politicians from the Democrat Party, of course, we're going to talk about Gavin Newsom. We're going to talk about J.B. Pritzker. We're going to talk about AOC and Kamala Harris. And the list is actually pretty long. We can talk about Jared Polis. We can talk about Karen Bass. We can talk about Brandon Johnson. We can talk about Kathy Hochul. We can talk about, Eric Adams. By the way, Eric Adams, he has changed his position a little bit over the last few months, but he's still a failed politician in New York City, undoubtedly. We can talk about Andy Bashir. We can talk about so many others. Beto O'Rourke. Does anyone remember Beto O'Rourke? Have you forgotten Beto O'Rourke? One of the biggest failed politicians in America. Have you forgotten about Beto O'Rourke? I don't think people are talking about him much these days. I mean, where is Beto O'Rourke? What is he up to? I have no idea. I have no idea. Can anyone tell me? Where is Beto O'Rourke? What is he doing right now? As far as I know, he's not a governor. He's not a governor. He's not a U.S. senator. So what exactly is Beto O'Rourke doing? Anyone? Anyway, Swaggy says, I have no idea who that is. I love that answer, Swaggy. That should be the answer. Anytime someone says Beto O'Rourke, I mean, we got to say, who is that guy? I don't know who that guy is. Yeah, sorry. I can't tell you anything about someone I don't know. I don't know who that guy is. I love that answer. Like, who is Beto O'Rourke? Anyway, going back to what I was saying. All these politicians, Gavin Newsom, J.B. Pritzker, AOC, Kamala Harris, Jasmine Crockett, all these people, and there are others, like there's Josh Shapiro, there's as I said, Andy Bashir's name keeps coming up also, and there's a few more. So these likely are the individuals who may decide to explore the possibility of running for president from the Democrat side. And who knows, Bernie may jump in. Bernie Sanders may jump in. Who knows? Bernie may do a ticket. It may be a modern day socialist presidential ticket with Bernie and AOC. Okay, Bernie for president, AOC for VP. They may come up with that socialist ticket. Don't you think it's possible? Don't you think it's possible? All right. So anyway, so you talk about who's going to run for president from the Democrat side. There's a long list, and I just mentioned a few names. Gavin Newsom, Pritzker, AOC, Kamala Harris, Jasmine Crockett. All these people, and possibly more, they may actively start campaigning as soon as the 2026 midterm election is over. The election's over. The next day, you're going to hear the sound of the engine of the next political machine. The cycle's going to start again as soon as 2026 is over. The 2028 political cycle will start. And so, let's assume that Nancy Pelosi did not retire, and she decided that she's going to seek re-election, and then she gets re-elected, and she gets sworn in for the new term. She starts the new term, okay? in 2027, at the same time as the 2028 cycle starting. And what would Nancy Pelosi at that point have to do? She would have to pick her favorite candidate for the presidential cycle. Nancy Pelosi at that point would have to decide who she is going to support. Nancy Pelosi at that point would have to make an endorsement. Nancy Pelosi at that point would have to publicly declare who she would support as her favorite candidate for president. Of course, as the former Speaker of the House, as one of the leading political figures of the Democrat Party, there would be a lot of pressure on Nancy Pelosi to make an endorsement or to show some sort of support for any particular candidate of her choice. That is what she would be facing if she would get reelected for another term beyond 2026. But Nancy Pelosi, as I told you, she understands that the Democrat Party is on the decline. Nancy Pelosi understands very well that none of the possible candidates for president from the Democrat side are good. Nancy Pelosi understands that the Democrat Party has gone downhill and continues to go downhill and continues to accelerate in speed as the party is going downhill. It is a downward spiral at a high speed. So Nancy Pelosi, looking at this roster of possible candidates, and she probably is not ready to support anyone. She's probably not ready to support Gavin Newsom. Nancy Pelosi herself is from California. She understands what a big failure Gavin Newsom is. She's not going to support Gavin Newsom. Nancy Pelosi also likely recognizes, being from California, that Kamala Harris has no chance of becoming the president after the big defeat that she faced in 2024. Nancy Pelosi probably realizes that J.B. Pritzker, no matter how highly he may think of his own self, J.B. Pritzker has no real chance of winning the presidency. Nancy Pelosi also probably realizes that people like AOC and Jasmine Crockett and the far left candidates, there are others, that they are completely politically unfit to be elevated to a position to run for president. And Nancy Pelosi also probably understands that other folks like Josh Shapiro and Andy Beshear and Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan, these people also have no real chance of success in a presidential election. So Nancy probably wants to avoid that whole scenario in which she is compelled to pick somebody as her favorite candidate and to make an endorsement, knowing very well that none of the people being mentioned as possible presidential candidates from the Democrat Party in 2028, none of these candidates are good. These are all failures, and they have no chance of success. I mean, do you think Gavin Newsom has any chance of success in a presidential election? That guy, instead of taking care of the people of California, California is such a mess. There's so much of work to do. And Gavin Newsom, instead of taking care of the people of California, he is busy podcasting. What about J.B. Pritzker? I wonder who it is who told J.B. Pritzker, J.B., why don't you run for president? I think you're going to do good. Who in the world told J.B. Pritzker that he has any chance of success in a presidential race? I mean, does J.B. Pritzker ever sit down and does he think of himself and who he is politically? Does J.B. Pritzker realize that he has no success, no accomplishment nothing to highlight other than the fact that he's from a pretty big state, Illinois, pretty populated state. That's pretty much the only thing. He has no accomplishment, no success in public service, nothing. And for some reason, J.B. Pritzker came up with this idea that he could be a candidate for president. Edwin, good to see you. Good to see you, Edwin. We got other friends tuning in. So, AOC, being the socialist, not fit to run for president. A socialist is never fit to run for president in America. Jasmine Crockett, absolutely not. Have you heard her speak during an interview? Do you think she has any intelligence, Jasmine Crockett? Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan, do you think she is going to have any success if she runs for president? Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania? No real chance of any success in a presidential cycle. And yet, these are the possible candidates. And so what Nancy Pelosi is trying to do is she's trying to walk away from having to make an endorsement for 2028. She is deciding to exit before the 2028 presidential cycle begins. We have someone here in the live chat saying socialism has always failed miserably. Okay, we have someone here in the live chat. You can see the name Stride. Is it Stride? I think, is it Stride? Okay. Saying that socialism has always failed miserably. Now, I got to tell you one thing. I agree with that statement 100%. Socialism has always failed. And I like the fact how you add the word miserably after the word failed. Because it is not enough to say that socialism has always failed. You also have to emphasize the degree of that failure. It's not just a simple failure. Socialism has always failed miserably. I agree with that statement. My friends, who else agrees with Stride saying socialism has always failed miserably? It is the truth. Swaggy agrees. Absolutely. Socialism has always failed miserably. Frank says agreed. Chris agrees. Audrey Ann, good to see you, Audrey, our friend from Long Island, New York. Audrey has joined us. Good to see you. Sean says agreed. Socialism has always failed miserably. Kay Cooper agrees. Socialism has always failed miserably. Thank you, my friends. So the poll is still open. The question is, are you happy that Nancy Pelosi is not seeking re-election? More than 540 votes so far, with 68% saying yes. People are happy that Nancy Pelosi is leaving Washington. All right, hold on a second. By the way, who here has not yet subscribed? Anyone here who has not subscribed? Hold on a second. All right. Okay. So does that make sense? Whatever I said about the real reasons behind Nancy Pelosi's decision to not seek re-election. It's not just, yes, she is old, but that's not the only reason. She can see that the party is in decline. Nancy Pelosi is part of the Democrat Party establishment, and she can see that the establishment is on a downward spiral. The communists are gaining more and more power in the Democrat Party. And also, Nancy Pelosi wants to stay away from the 2028 presidential election cycle. She can see that none of the candidates running for president are good. She doesn't want to make an endorsement. She doesn't want to show her support for one candidate over another because none of them are good. And she realizes that. And so she has decided that it's best to exit than to stay in Washington and witness the Democrat Party establishment completely lose power and the communists taking over the Democrat Party. Max is saying from Adelaide, Australia. Thank you, Max, for joining. Thank you for tuning in. All right. Okay, now I think whatever I had to say, I did. I'm going to answer your questions. Anyone has questions for me? Anything you want to ask me? Max is saying he is in Adelaide, Australia. Well, thanks, Max, for joining. We have friends who tune in from Australia. Do we have Michael Brown here? Michael Brown, are you watching? That's our friend. That's our friend from Australia also. I think Michael is from Melbourne, if I remember correctly. Audrey is asking, do you think we're going to be okay as a country? Audrey, I love that question. Okay, let's talk about it. Our friend Audrey from Long Island, New York, is asking, do you think we're going to be okay as a country? It's a simple question, but it has a lot of depth. Very simple question. Do you think we're going to be okay as a country? But if you think about it, that question has tremendous depth. This is a question coming from an American patriot, somebody who loves the United States of America, somebody who cares deeply about America, somebody who wants to see America being successful and prosperous. And our friend Audrey is concerned about our country and wants to know if we are going to be okay. Well, Audrey, let's go back to last year. Let's go back to last year. Many people were feeling hopeless. And Audrey, you were here when we were talking about the upcoming election at the time, because the 2024 November election, when we were doing live streams before that, we were talking about it as the upcoming election. And there was a lot of anxiety. People were very anxious, and we've been through the trauma of the 2020 election. And so many people did not recover from the trauma of the 2020 election. And so there was so much of anxiety. People were worried. A lot of people felt hopeless. They thought we're not going to be able to win, no matter how much we try, things are going to go in the negative direction. But I always said, and we can go back and replay all the tapes, right, from the live streams. I always said, we have to be optimistic. We have to be hopeful. And part of explaining why we should be hopeful, part of that process of showing you the reasons why we should be hopeful, I did those electoral map analysis. Remember that? We went state by state, battleground by battleground, just thinking about the best case scenario, worst case scenario. Is Trump going to get the electoral college votes he needs? We talked about all that. And obviously, God decides everything. God is the decision maker. But we have to have faith. And so I talked about optimism and hope and faith. And I said, whatever, religion you follow, whatever God you worship, I believe we are created by the same creator. And so let's have faith and let's see what happens. I never guaranteed. I never said, oh, we're definitely going to win. I never said, oh, I guarantee we're going to win Wisconsin. Oh, I guarantee Trump's going to win Pennsylvania. I never made a prediction, because who am I to make a prediction? I'm just a human being of flesh and blood. I can feel confident, I can feel optimistic, but I cannot guarantee the future. I cannot say that this is what the course of action is going to be 7 days from now. Who am I to make a prediction? I can't. But I said, have faith. As long as we have hope, we got to be optimistic. And then let's see what happens. And God gave us an amazing victory. God gave us a wonderful, wonderful victory in November 2024. We not only won the presidency, we held on to the majority in the House, we won the majority in the US Senate. And so, Audrey, we continue to face, you know this, I know this, our friends here, we all know this, Swaggy knows this, Kay Cooper, Evelyn, we all know this, and others, Frank, Edwin, everyone who's here. Our friend AC Cruz, I don't know if AC Cruz is watching. AC, are you watching? I hope AC is here. If not, I want AC Cruz to know that we appreciate her, and she's a great friend, and others here, Claudia Greenwood and others. So, we have to have hope, and no matter how difficult things may become, we have to have the hope and optimism that we're going to be okay. And we are going to be okay. I think God will protect us. I believe that. I believe that God will protect us. We go through, as human beings, we face difficulties, we face challenges, because it's a way for us to become stronger. When we overcome a challenge, we become stronger. And that's what happens. We faced the trauma of 2020. We went through 4 years of absolute nightmare with Biden in the White House. We did not lose hope. We had tremendous victory in 2024, and here we are. And we can see the rise in communism, but we shall never give up. We will defeat communism. We have defeated communism before. We will defeat communism again. Communism will never win. We will defeat communism. Simon, good to see you. That's our friend Simon from South Africa. Simon, good to see you. Our wonderful friend Simon is tuning in from South Africa. Simon, I hope you're doing well. I hope things are great. So, Audrey, to answer your question, are we going to be okay as a country? Yes, we will be okay. We are going to be okay as a country. Doesn't mean that everything's going to be smooth. There will be challenges, there will be difficulties, there will be obstacles, there will be problems, there will be barriers, there will be evil forces who will try to prevent us from being successful, but we will defeat the evil and we will defeat communism, because communism is evil. Audrey, how do you feel? Do you feel optimistic, Audrey? Audrey says for sure. Thank you, Audrey. I hope I was able to give you an answer. All right. By the way, Audrey says, I do, but I'm worried. I know, I understand, Audrey. There are reasons to be worried. There are reasons to be worried. I'm not going to tell you that, hey, there's no reason to worry. Yes, when you see somebody like Zoran Mamdani, a communist, win a mayoral election in America, yes, we have reasons to be worried. Absolutely. And Audrey, I understand why you're worried, because you are in the state of New York. If I remember correctly, you are in Long Island, right? And so you're closer to New York City than we are. And so I understand that you have reasons to be worried, but have faith. You do have faith. You are a freedom-loving American. And let me tell you, we're going to be fine. We will defeat communism. Patrick lives in California. Welcome, Patrick. Charisse is here, our friend Charisse. By the way, I got to tell you, yesterday when I did the live stream, it was the live stream before this one. I did that yesterday. That live stream, the one yesterday, got 133,000 views. It was the most views for a single live stream on this channel so far. 133,000 views. A single live stream. That was the one yesterday, the highest ever views. It was more than 3 hours and 30 minutes long. It's more than 3 hours and 30 minutes long. It was 133,000 views. I should say, hold on, I should say 132. It's close to 133, but I think it's 132 point something. Okay. Swaggy says nice. Yeah, it's really awesome, Audrey. Yeah. Um, Highest ever. If you missed it, you can go back and replay that thing. I know it's long, 3 hours, 30 minutes. Maybe you can just watch a few clips. Um, yeah. So, yeah. All right, my friends. I know it's kind of late. It is 1:19 a.m. I've done this live stream for close to 1 hour now. I think I'm gonna wrap up. Um, but I will be back with more videos and more live stream. Absolutely. Um, the new viewers, thank you for joining. Patrick, thank you, and others. Um, Hopefully, those who are new here will continue to tune in for the live streams that I plan to do um, going forward. So, just to revisit the poll question, the question is, are you happy that Nancy Pelosi is not seeking re-election? 68% says yes. 68% of the respondents happy that Nancy Pelosi is not seeking re-election. All right. So thank you so very much, my friends. Good to see you, Simon. It's been a while. Thanks for being here, and others. I appreciate your prayers very much, and your words of support. So may God bless you all. May God bless President Donald J. Trump. May God bless the Trump administration. May God bless our great Republican leaders in Washington. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless our U.S. allies. And may God bless freedom-loving people all over the world. Thank you, my friends. I'm going to be back again soon with more videos and more live stream. And remember this. Together, all of us, we will make America great again. Thank you so very much. Have a good night, or I should say have a great morning, and I'm going to be back again very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.